Yes, we are.
Oh, okay. OBS. No, wait, what happened? Okay, there we go. I knew something's gonna. It always happens. Hello, everybody. Welcome to a special episode of the Morning Metro. We, of course, your hosts, Grid21 and Gurttron, and we'd like to also get it right off the bat that we actually have two special guests who are joining us via audio. Mama and Papa Grid, also known as Redtail23 and Snow Queen. Let's see if I can find a applause sound effect somewhere in there. Oh, here it's. There it is. That's what I was trying to find. But yes, of course, as you guys know, it is December 31st, 2018, New Year's Eve. First of all, everybody that's joining us on the show via audio or video, happy New Year's Eve to you guys.
Yes. I really wish I was born on New Year's Day, just because being born on December 30th is just too close.
Yes, happy belated birthday, Gurttron, as well.
Happy birthday. I did not know your birthday was December 30th.
Just be glad not born in leap year.
Oh, leap year.
Yeah, that leap year. Yeah, that's always bad.
So, as it being New Year's Eve and everything, we're kind of doing a sort of recap summary. What was our favorite things of 2018? What were our favorite articles and stuff? And this is kind of a sort of a, not necessarily one of our normal shows, just kind of like a relaxed, chatting. What was some of the great things about the year and stuff. And I guess I'll go ahead and jump into one of the articles that we covered. One of the ones that I enjoyed. I know that MommaGrid certainly enjoys, as she's a fan of the Sherlock Holmes series. As you guys remember, let's see, this comes from this was our July 7th, 2018 episode, where we talked about how Benedict Cumberbatch actually ended up being a real life hero after a guy on a bike got mugged by a couple of ruffians. And that was a really fun article to talk about, honestly. That was kind of cool because, we all know that Sherlock Holmes is a very classic tale and a very, classic British stories and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. MommaGrid, first of all, thank you I think you were the one that actually submitted that article, as I recall, right?
Yes, that's right. I love the Sherlock Holmes stories, and actually because of Sir Arthur Conan Doyle and the Sherlock Holmes stories, the modern police techniques that we use actually came from those stories. That's how modern policing actually got started.
Oh, you learn something new every day.
Yeah, definitely. But it's it's kind of, you always find it interesting how something that we there's certain trends, certain things that just happen, and it's example like this, and it's ends up sparking an entire field of study, or you look at past scientists or whatever, and they just kind of they start these trends, and you just kind of sit there and wow, this isn't gonna this is a great story, this was a great person, whatever, and then years later it's just kind of wow, this ends up sparking this whole this whole thing and stuff. I don't know anymore. I'm just kind of rambling / discussing, but what do you guys, anything to add here to this article?
I have always enjoyed Sherlock Holmes, all of the different storylines. I've even watched the Sherlock Holmes from when he was a kid. Sherlock Holmes as a kid.
Really
old episodes. We're talking about probably back in the 1980s, I'd say, is when they're let out. I can't remember, but they're
interesting.
Really old ones. And I've always enjoyed watching Sherlock Holmes just because I like to see if I can figure out where they're trying to go, see if I can find the clues on my own, say, oh, that guy did it.
Yeah.
Of course, sometimes they completely mess you over, and right off at the beginning, they actually show you who did it, and then you have to watch them trying to figure it out. You're like, I already know who did this. This is not fair.
Yeah, I'm really waiting for when they get Benedict Cumberbatch, and who's the other actor? I don't remember. Red Tail or Snow Queen. Do you remember who the other actor is that plays his sidekick?
Yes, I know who you mean. Watson? I can see his face. I can't remember the name.
He's been in so many things. He was in The Hobbit and everything. I still can't remember what his name is. It's terrible.
Let's see.
It escapes me at the moment.
Oh, Gurttron's looking it up. He'll figure it out.
I'm looking it up. Okay, John H. Watson. H. Watson. Let me see. Trying to find it. Of course, I could find that one.
Everything on the fly in the morning.
Martin Freeman. Martin Freeman.
That's
Yes.
it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Martin Freeman, yeah. It's I'm really waiting for them to make new episodes of Sherlock. From what I've read several times, apparently they always end up having like scheduling issues, apparently, from what I understand.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the one thing that has really annoyed me about the season, of how they do it. They do like one, and then like several months later they'll do another one, and you're like, come on, get with the schedule, people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think there's a lot of frustrated Sherlock Holmes fans out there of the most recent with Benedict Cumberbatch and Martin Freeman. I know I'm frustrated as a fan, but I remember, and I still do as an adult when I can catch it, the really old films where Basil Rathbone was Sherlock Holmes.
Oh my gosh.
And then the series that I really enjoy those. Basil Rathbone did an extremely good job playing Sherlock. And then but the series I really enjoy is Jeremy Brett as Sherlock Holmes.
Jeremy Brett was really good.
PBS. Oh my God, he was amazing. He was Sherlock Holmes. He truly was the personification and the spirit, and it's like he was Sherlock, jumped right off of Arthur Conan Doyle's pages. He was exactly him, and the fellow that played Dr. Watson. The two of them were exactly what you would have pictured as the real Sherlock and Watson. And I one of these days I'm going to have to buy the whole series because I just like thoroughly enjoy that. PBS hasn't played that series in a long while. I really miss it because I was always watching the TV schedule to find out what time it was coming on because I get so busy during the week. But yeah, I'm a huge Sherlock Holmes fan anyway. I love a good mystery. I've always loved a good mystery since I was a kid. And I don't know if, well, you guys aren't old enough.
Thanks.
Yeah, well, there used to be a series of kids' books that came out called The Hollisters. And it was, I think it might be the Hollister twins, but it was a family that the kids came up with decoder rings and little. In fact, you could subscribe to it in the mail. My sister and I got them. There was a little clear plastic thing. It was red. And if you, I think if you did the thing with lemon juice or something, you could read what was written underneath. And then there was another little like decoder book or something that came with it. And that got me hooked on mysteries. And mysteries as a genre are something I really enjoy because it makes me think. And you have to think out of the box. And you have to look for things you wouldn't normally. It challenges my perspective on things, and I love that.
Nice,
very nice.
So,
now I've got a question for you, Mama-Grid.
Yeah.
No, Queen. How do you feel about the Elementary series?
Is that the one where the girl? There's a girl that plays Sherlock.
The girl that plays Watson. It's still a guy that plays Sherlock, but it's a girl that plays Watson.
Okay, I saw the trailers for that, and that just like turned me off immediately. Sherlock and Watson are two men.
Yeah.
And they are real men.
Like a man's man, basically.
Yeah. And when I first saw it come out,
you don't switch sexes like that, and that destroys the original intent of Arthur Conan Doyle's stories. And there are just some things for me in literature that are like so sacred. Don't touch it. Don't even think about it. And and that's how I feel about it. And that just drives me bonkers when somebody does that.
It's like when they swapped the sexes for Doctor Who, and I was just like, why?
Yes, yes. You don't do that either. Doctor Who is a man, and he is who he is, and don't even think about it. No, I can't stand that.
Oh my! Now, I will say, when I first started watching Elementary, and I found out that Watson was a woman, I was upset, but then I got hooked. After watching it, it just ended up working.
There are just even in literature, there are certain places where it is a man's world.
Yeah.
And no woman, fiction or nonfiction, has any business sticking her nose in and turning it toward a feminine side. You just don't do those things. That's why I get so angry too with the feminist movement and that kind of garbage in our world, because there are just places where women, like, I get really angry watching a football game and you have a woman commentator commentating about the men and their game and how they're playing it, or she's got the nerve to walk into a locker room. I'm sorry. No, you're a woman. You don't do things like that. It's not ladylike. It's a man's world. You leave the men to have their own sacred bastions and you keep your nose out of it. It's just that simple.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
Sorry, I'm a little old-fashioned and Victorian. I can't help it. My grandmother grew up during the Victorian period and the Edwardian period, and my mother was born around World War II, before World War II, and I just really, I think those standards that those of a woman's place in society, I think were a good thing. And even when the men gave the women the right to vote, if a woman is the head of her own household, she should have the right to vote. She is the head of her own household. If she's not the head of her own household, then make her views known through her husband, and the two of them get together and agree about how to vote. But if I did not currently have the right to vote as a woman, I would not be upset. I would be glad for my husband to represent the household. I love how this went from
a Sherlock Holmes discussion to an outright like politics in 5 seconds or less.
I'm sorry, dear.
No, it's fine. It's just I find it's like, well, that escalated quickly.
Dude,
sorry, just like I just heard it's I mean, that's just...
I mean, it's great discussion.
I just get tired of the men having their toes stepped on all the time by women. And I think that really needs to stop. And, you know, and God put men in charge of the world and in charge of the family. And I just hold that as a very dear thing. And I think that it should be respected and continue to be upheld. Not that every man does it correctly, and some men really screw up, as we can tell by the news headline. But overall, I am very happy for those things to fall on the men's shoulders and let us pay attention to the things that God says we should pay.
Yeah.
Okay, so on that note, this is a great segue, actually. You're a big benefactor of men, and I can see that. But what about AI? What about an AI-powered robot that says family is important and wants to have
its own children? Yeah.
I mean, that was another article we went over about a robot who actually, an AI that came out and said, hey, family is important and I want to have kids.
She's a machine, for God's sake. Keep it in perspective.
Right?
So I'm just thinking the way the world's going.
I'd like to also point out, did this also come from our same July 7th episode?
This one actually came from January 20th.
Oh, the January 20th episode. All right, cool. All right. Yeah, so as we talked about, an AI wants to have its own little robo AI family. Okay, first of all, that is really disturbing. Just why?
That is very disturbing.
It's a freaking like how does a robot reproduce? What, do you just like hook it up to some cybernetic connection and be like, program all of its, code after my code and metal after my metal? I don't know, something, not to sound like why?
Have you ever watched Batteries Not Included from 1987?
No, but I have seen Short Circuit.
Great movie right there. Basically, robots come from outer space and they eat up a whole bunch of technology and they reproduce. Now, it's a completely family friendly and it's not as bad as I make it sound like. It's actually very family friendly and very good. But maybe that's how they intend on doing that. Is AI will eventually become AI machines. I mean,
this is what I have to say to that, by the way.
Well, I mean, if men can't take care of their own business and women can't take care of their own business, according to liberal society.
That was the operative word, liberal society.
Exactly. According to liberal society, then what's the next best thing? How about we make a robot do it for us?
That just sounds so wrong on so many levels right now. Do you realize? It
is, because the Bible says God created man and women, not God created man, woman, and AI.
Okay. So I got to read some chat here. So Leo says in chat, the morning metro, more like the evening metro. CN replies a lol with a lol emo, and then Leo says car on a stick. Wait, what?
What's car on a stick?
I don't know. Hi, Leo. Hi, CN.
Dick?
Welcome to the show. Okay. I don't know.
Okay.
This is Twitch chat. This is Twitch chat.
Oh my goodness.
I love Twitch chat. It's great.
But I am legitly worried here. Now, I don't think it's going to happen within like the next couple years, but 20, 30 years from now, I can see what was that one movie that was out there? Let me see.
There's been a lot of movies out there.
Future World or something?
I think it was called iRobot.
Yeah.
I foresee that happening. Not in the next 20, 30 years. I mean, it may take a little longer than that to get that kind of technology up. But I do foresee that kind of scenario happening where almost everybody has their own AI robot.
Yeah. I mean, we already have like Roombas, like those Roomba things that do. Which MommaGrid formally told me that she would not have anything of it with a Roomba.
Oh my. Well, did you see the new robot that just came out that can actually clean up a room? Yeah,
that's
No, it's not vacuuming. I mean, it can pick items up and put it in the right spots.
I don't care what it can do. I'll just put it out in the trash heap. I'm cleaning my own house.
I feel bad. So Redtail has been sitting here ever so quiet. Redtail, do you have anything to say to this? I feel so bad.
Well, I was thinking about all the robot technology that they're using for the Fukushima nuclear power plant in Japan that blew up.
Yeah.
The radiation was so bad that the robots that they developed for that actually melted in the water.
Oh, wow.
Because they actually were trying to develop robots that actually can go out on a tether. And I was watching a 60 Minutes piece a couple of weeks ago that said that they developed millions and millions of dollars of all these robots that they want to go and clean up the nuclear core. And they couldn't design a robot strong enough to withstand all the radiation.
That's crazy.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, because radiation from a power plant meltdown can last for several decades, as I understand.
Oh, and it can last for hundreds of years. Hundreds of years, depending on how bad it is.
Wow.
Yeah, it can actually last thousands of years. That's true.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's why everybody is afraid of nuclear war, because they know if nuclear war actually happens,
oh dear Lord,
the world's going to be unable to be populated at all for like thousands of years.
Oh dear.
Oh, don't worry about it. God will come back, clean it up, and it'll be populated again. It's not a problem.
Cian says in chat, there's a game that is actually what you just said about personal robots. Really? Okay. What game is that, CN?
Which game is that?
And Leo in chat said a Google car on a stick. I don't know how that would work.
Oh, yeah.
What am I missing?
Okay, I think he's referring to the fact that Google, that's how they take Google Map images. They have a car that goes around and actually takes pictures. I think he's referring to something about that.
Oh, okay. Detroit.
Yeah.
Oh, Detroit Become Human. That's the game. Oh, that's right.
Oh, that one.
That's
yeah.
right. Because that game is about robots asking whether or not they have a right to. Oh, I never played Detroit Become Human. Like it looks kind of cool, but I don't know if because that game is actually it's a multi storyline game. So basically, it's decision making, like Life is Strange. So whatever path you pick in the story affects the outcome. But yeah, the Detroit Become Human. Yeah, I forgot about that being one of those like choice. It's PS4 only. What? That's lame.
Oh, okay. Leo says we're all wrong. Car on a Stick is actually a game. I googled just Car on a Stick. Yes, it is actually just a game.
Oh man.
I'm not. Wow, that's that. Okay, don't show that on stream because if you have epilepsy, it'll probably go active.
Oh dear. Okay. Okay. Anyway, but yeah, yeah, I mean, we're like, I'm kind of split with AI technology because Japan has been known to develop some of the most advanced robots, but they're doing it because they want to actually make things better. If you look at American technology for robots, it's mainly just for military use, like up until very recently. But it's kind of like, it's either a case of humans are getting extremely lazy that we have to have robots, or we're just it's another marketing. I don't know. I mean, not all robots. I mean, it's not to say robot technology is bad. It is very good. There can be some good uses for it, for disaster relief, for military purposes, for, maybe iffy on military purposes, for assistant living for those people that are old, old people, retirement homes, or who want to live at home but still have some independence, having a AI, butler or whatever and stuff like that. I mean, there's cases where robot technology is fine, and I'm okay with it, but at a certain point, it's like saying blurring the line between VR and virtual reality games versus like real life or augmented reality versus. I mean, there is a certain level at which like it's what is this for kind of a thing. What do we need to do? Cian says in chat, robots are cool until they wait
are too lifelike.
Until they
robots
are too lifelike.
Cool until they are too lifelike.
Yes.
Yeah. Now I will say, Sophie here, if they had actually covered up the top of her head with skin-looking material as well, you might have actually mistaken her or it as an actual her.
Yeah.
In the picture by itself, without seeing it talk.
Yep.
Yeah. So at least they were like
lifelike there.
I mean, I'm glad they were like had enough decency to make it make it look like an actual robot and stuff. I mean, we have things like machine learning, which is helpful. There's a couple of little things that it's used for and stuff, but yeah, I don't know. Let me see. Let me go down. And speaking of, actually, I think this would be actually a good time. And speaking of technologies that are progressing, NASA. Now, this was an article we covered several months ago about NASA's announces a crew for first commercial space flight. Anybody want to go to space? This comes from our August 4th episode that we talked about this. NASA basically, let me go ahead and I guess basically giving a ride, giving people have rides, to and from space or whatever. I like my feet firmly planted on the ground, but that's just me. If you get kicks and giggles from that, that's perfectly fine. So let's kind of reiterate and kind of talk about this traveling to and from space and space flight. Thoughts, anybody?
Love to do that. I would love to go to space.
I'd like to be the first computer technician that swaps out a hard drive in a weightless environment.
I'm sure it's probably been done.
It takes like 4 months to prep those, some of them to be prepared for a space launch.
And you cannot go to space if you cannot go to space if you've actually smoked, because the stuff that is in cigarettes stays in your body, and if you go to space, the fiberglass that's in some cigarettes can expand and kill you and whatever and stuff. So astronauts who've done smoking. Yeah, I was talking to one of my friends when we were at one of our events we go to every year, and they said something to the fact of that if an astronaut was a smoker, I think it has something to do with the cigarettes, whatever's in them. If you've smoked, you cannot apply to be an astronaut at all.
Wow.
Yeah, I have to
Now,
double
I
check
do
that.
imagine-
Go ahead.
I do imagine that in the future, I mean, I'm thinking Star Trek here. In
Yes.
the future, because I'm sure people are going to be smoking till the end of time. Just
Yep.
saying.
Yep.
It's going to happen. But I'm thinking in the future, Star Trek stuff will exist.
Yeah.
There will be ships that regularly, on a daily basis, go up with hundreds of people going who knows where, and I'll be sure that they have some sort of inoculant they can give if you're a smoker.
Well, when
Or just an inoculant in general that everybody has to take for going up that actually takes care of anything bad.
Well, what I'm kind of thinking is, we're heading into 2019. Elon Musk is developing his underground highway. SpaceX creating a reusable rocket, shrinking things, shielding. I think there was talk of warp drive somewhere in there. I mean, we're getting pretty freaking close,
Well, they already have plasma drive. They've proven that technology.
Yeah.
Is that something we actually went over that one airplane? No.
I don't remember.
I don't think that was it.
But I mean, Redtail or MommaGrid, what do you think of the whole idea of traveling to and from space? I mean, I know people are crazy on the highway, but we've talked about colonization, at least in my house, a couple times, about colonization of space.
I go to a different planet.
I mean, as long as huh?
I guess my biggest beef with all that's the fact we got too many issues here at Earth. Why do we need to spend money to go outside our own environment when we haven't fixed our own issues on Earth here first?
Well, we can get away from the liberals. Either the liberals can go or we can stay. They can choose.
I knew it was going to get in there somewhere.
We could pack them up and send them up to Mars.
Exactly.
And then there really would be Martians.
Like the Space 1999 series, they can be the beings from the other planet.
Oh my gosh. CN says in chat, Elon Musk is too rich. He wants to do everything. That's true.
Yep.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess it's I guess it's kind of cool, the idea of traveling to and from space, but why would you want to? Unless you have
exploration.
I know. But for the average everyday Joe, like me, imagine doing a Twitch live stream from space. That's not been done before.
That'd be awesome.
I could be the first Twitch streamer. Well, probably Ninja would beat me to it, actually. I bet you Ninja would beat me to it. Well, there was actually a program. There was some sort of person or program they were developing to get content creators to be the first content creators to travel to space and be inspired by the cosmos to create. It was some I don't know exactly what it was, but I kind of there's certain space programs I kind of sit there and I'm like, is this very necessary? It's a thing on YouTube though. Grid. Wait, what is CN? But I don't know, for the everyday person, I mean, I'm just happy not to fall out of bed in the morning.
Okay. CNN says it's a thing on YouTube. I believe there are streams you can go to on YouTube where they are streaming from space.
Oh, space streams. Oh, okay.
So I think somebody might have beat you to the punch there, but
not for Twitch.
Give me a moment.
Streaming to Twitch is okay. Gurttron's doing more research and development in the background.
I think it's interesting too. I was born the year before we actually got involved in spaceflight, because I was born in '57, and you had the Russian Sputnik satellite born launched, I think, the year or two after that. So I've been alive the entire time. The entire American spaceflight, NASA's been around, and we recently celebrated the 50th anniversary of Apollo 8, where we actually sent the lunar module to the moon.
Wow!
And I remember the landing of the Eagle on Tranquility Base. It was July of the summer of 1969. Because we all stayed up late to watch the landing of the lunar module.
Yeah, and Red Tail, correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't your dad develop something for space program with you've always told this story about, was it your dad that developed something to do with like the gloves that they use in space or something like that? And also,
my dad worked for a company called ILC Dover. It was actually in Dover, Delaware. And back between the Mercury and the Gemini and the Apollo missions, they were actually changing the pressurized of their suits, because at 15 pounds per square inch, when you're at a suit in space, it's like 8 pounds per square inch. It took a body an awful long time to reallocate itself back to Earth weight gravity. So they were actually developing a new spacesuit that can actually handle the 8 pounds per square inch in space. And they spent thousands and thousands of dollars just developing a double bearing glove so that you actually can put the glove on and have the normal wrist movement. And they spent so much money trying to figure out a way to airtight just the double bearing in the glove.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my.
Interesting.
Anything done in space costs times 100.
True. Very true.
You want to write in space? Well, guess what? NASA made their own pen for it.
Yeah.
It costs thousands.
Oh my gosh. And speaking of things that go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
No. Go ahead. If you go ahead, finish up.
Thanks to freeze-dried food, that actually was developed for space exploration. And there's an article I'm looking at, the 15 ways the International Space Station is benefiting Earth.
Interesting. And speaking of things that develop thousands of dollars to research, apparently gaming is a disorder. According to, it is a mental disease.
Which
Everything's
stands for
a disease.
the World Health Organization has thought about adding gaming disorder to a list of mental diseases, which I did not follow up on this, since this technically it was
this is our January 20th episode that we did this past year
on it. So
no.
hey, Grid.
Yes.
While I'm talking about this, go see if they actually did make a disorder.
Yeah, sure. Let me go ahead and pull up another tab somewhere, and I'll go ahead and talk about it. And I'm going to do a little bit of research myself. All right, head to Google. Start.
So basically, the World Health Organization is saying that there are gaming disorders, and they want to make it a diagnosable disease. I don't know how. I mean, it would have to be pretty bad for somebody to actually be considered they have a gaming disorder. But they say that, in the US, 63% of households include at least one frequent gamer, according to the 2016's Essential Facts About Computer and Video Game Industry.
Leo says in chat, fake news, baby rage. True. Continue.
I'm just like, okay, gaming, I can see where gaming too much could be an issue, but there are probably a lot of underlying conditions if you feel like you just have to game 24/7. But there's a whole bunch of benefits you can get from gaming. Hand-eye coordination, fine muscle movements, your memory, your critical thinking. There's a whole bunch of benefits to gaming.
Well, being a stroke survivor, I do a lot of Tetris because it's actually teaching me to do my working with my diminished left cut. Because I find my biggest failure is I forget to scan the screen to figure out where I need to drop some more pellets or blocks on the one side of the screen to fill it up in order to move to the next level.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, like, gaming, as far as I'm considered, it encourages cooperativeness between people. It encourages working together with people, learning communication and stuff. Sometimes, I alone feel like I'm somewhat of a better person because of gaming. And yes, I mean, those of you who follow this channel regularly, who follow my main channel, I game 5 days a week for 3, 4, sometimes 5 hours straight. But, the benefits of what's coming out of that are not that harmful. It's really, unless, and Gurttron's right, unless there's some really underlining, something, because you get addicted to something, because of what? There's something in your life that you're missing. You're trying to fill a void. And people who do this are the people whose lives are either feel empty, feel worthless, whatever. I actually have the book right here. It's called Reality is Broken, Why Games Make Us Better and How They Can Change the World. I mean, I have yet to finish reading this book. I actually lost my place. I need to start the book again, unfortunately. Maybe I should try spending time reading it for 2018 and then talk about it at the end of the year.
Yeah.
But yeah, Gurttron, there's some chat here. Could you go ahead and read some of the chat for us while I try to keep looking this up?
Yep. Okay, so CN says he's a gameaholic. Okay. Derpy Meme Bot I've noticed that humans seem to enjoy chaos in all forms. This seems bad, at least to me. I don't care. Humans don't affect me. Oh. Okay, there's some good in that and some bad, but okay. And Leo wants to know, is that kid holding a Switch? Now, I haven't actually held a Switch before,
No,
so
he's not. He's not.
I'm actually thinking that's probably a cell phone, a smartphone. Possibly.
Let me, Retio, could you direct that link to me and just, or wait, no, shoot, you don't, because you're using Discord. We'll look at it. We'll do a follow-up discussion on this probably at some point later, because I am unable to find what I'm looking for right now. So we'll do a.
You're talking about the World Health Organization article?
Yeah, I was trying to find a follow-up to it, but I can't find it. Well, we can cover it in a future episode if we have to, because I'm not able to find what I'm looking for at the moment. But I mean, and let's be honest. I think I heard MommaGrid say everything's qualified as a disease nowadays.
Yeah, I was just sitting here looking up because I'm getting very exasperated at certain terms in our language being interchanged, and they do not mean the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And I was looking up disease, and it's basically a condition of a living animal or plant body or one of its parts that impairs normal functioning and is typically manifested by distinguishing signs and symptoms.
Mm-hmm.
It's a disorder of structure or function in a human, animal, or plant. Okay, so you're getting down to, in that case, you're talking about the cellular level. There's something wrong on the cellular level that is causing things to not function properly. That is a disease. That is a physical thing inside that plant, animal, or human on the cell level that is causing the wrong signals to be sent out to tell the rest of that structure how to operate or function.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. You got that. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Now let's go to disorder. Disorder generally pertains to the field of psychology.
Yeah.
And okay, so its mental disorders are patterns of behavioral or psychological symptoms. These things are not on a cell level. This is a pattern of behavior or psychological symptoms that impact multiple areas of life. Now, to a certain extent, that can be like if you have a chemical imbalance or disorder, and that would be on the genetic cellular level. In that respect, I suppose maybe you could apply the term that structure is disease.
Yeah.
Because there is something wrong on the cell level. But a lot of what is getting characterized as disease, such as these gaming disorders, are not diseases. These are behaviors, and behaviors come from choices we make. And we are responsible for our own choices. Choices are not diseases. They are not a dysfunction on a cellular level. They are something that we determine to do based on the input that we have and whether we decide to do this or that.
Yeah.
Which path you're going to take.
Yeah.
So let's stop categorizing stuff. Let's stop categorizing disorders as diseases because they're not.
Yeah.
And let's start talking about being responsible for our own life choices.
Of course, yeah. We actually found, Gurttron actually found a follow-up article finally. So go ahead, Gurttron, jump in here.
This actually comes from the World Health Organization website as of September 2018. A gaming disorder is defined in the 11th revision of the International Classification of Diseases, ICD-11, which I know what ICD-11 is all about because I work with ICD-10 codes from work all the time. So it is officially a disorder or a disease according to yeah, it's not good. Basically, they've defined it. Gaming disorders defined in the 11th revision, characterized by impaired control over gaming, increasing priority given to gaming over other activities to the extent that gaming takes precedence over other interests and daily activities, and continuation or escalation of gaming despite the occurrence of negative consequences. I am going to find the IC10 code for this.
No, this is dumb. This is dumb. You know what? Wait.
All of this is an excuse to not. The World Health Organization itself is a joke, and then all of this is being used as we get a write-off to not take responsibility for our own behaviors. Mm-hmm. If the World Health Organization says, "Oh, it's a disease, dear," then that's okay. I don't have to take responsibility for my personal behavior anymore.
Right.
This needs to stop.
Yeah. As I was going to insert the audio track of.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time for that.
I mean, and you know what the sad part is? All of this is paid for by our tax dollars.
Exactly.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my.
I would love to talk more about this, but I feel like we're kind of we've shredded this pretty. MommaGrid has successfully shredded this. We need to have her and Retta. We need to have on more often.
Well, the World Health Organization can't even take responsibility for the health situations around the world that they are supposed to be working with and helping to make better.
Yeah.
They're just an absolute joke.
Oh my.
It's like some board that's there at the UN or whatever that guys sit on and get paid for, but their brains are where.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
CN said in chat, you heard it here first, folks. Stop paying taxes. Oh man. Okay, and speaking of more stupid things, we cover this in another episode. Tokyo wanted to make a building out of wood. This comes from our February 17th episode. As you guys may or may not remember, there was an article where it comes from theguardian.com, where Japan wanted to make a skyscraper that was made completely out of wood, and of course we shredded this apart, as you guys may remember. Now, okay, first of all, okay. Let's think about something here. I don't mind reusable stuff. I do think that actually, side note, I was watching a video from Epos Vox talking about how CRT monitors are getting thrown into dumpster piles and not being properly disposed of. Okay, CN just sent chat. Building with wood. Is this Fortnite? I never thought of that. You are so
have a
right.
termite protection contract with that building?
I would hope so. That's wow. Okay, here's how you take down the building. You take a handful of termites in there and just let them loose, and give it some time, and eventually the building will fall.
That's beautiful.
I love it.
It's interesting. If they don't have enough redwood, there's a guy that I heard some years ago build a house out of redwood, and redwood is the known material that actually would withstand earthquakes.
Interesting. Now,
can it withstand termites?
Can it withstand termites?
Redwood, I don't know.
Sounds like a good Google search. Now here's the thing. Okay, now I can understand. Now looking back on this article now, I can understand where maybe having reusable stuff is good. Recycling is good, honestly. I'm half yeah, it's good. Half I don't want to get too obsessed over it. There's such a thing as being obsessed over recycling. Okay. But then there's a case of reusable energy, reusable building materials is not bad. It's not bad. It's that when we feel like we worship the earth, it becomes a bad thing. That goes into tree huggers and special snowflakes and all that other jazz. But I don't know. I just somehow feel like that building a building out of wood It just sounds like it because okay, think about if somebody's smoking in the building.
Oh my goodness.
Everybody here can just autofill what I'm about to say. If you're smoking,
it's gonna burn down.
and if you like take the butt of the cigarette and wipe it on the wood wall, that's an ember, and I can see a fire hazard just starting instantly.
Oh my god. You know how in Minecraft I like to send out fire everywhere?
Yeah.
Just saying that's what the whole building's gonna look like. It's gonna be on fire
Rip.
and no longer around.
Rip.
I mean, I'm just sorry. Just no. So many things could go wrong there.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about, although, okay, backing up a little bit here. Okay, houses normally built out of brick, usually, like out on the outside, and there's wood on the inside, right? Like, I mean, we can all, I'm correct in saying that. So, I mean, it's not like we're not using wood already. But an entire build, like, I mean, because let me go to the article view here. I mean, looking at, the structure. Looking at the structure of it, I mean, is that nothing but wood? Like, is there no brick and mortar?
I think the idea is that it is, for the most part, just wood. I mean, there might be. Yeah.
And this
the
is
foundation might not be wood.
I mean, in the article, it said here it's a 5.6. What is that? 5.6 billion. No, they use the yen over there. So that's an American, right?
Yeah.
That's a lot of money to fund that. And you know, and the funny thing is, it will take years to build, but seconds to destroy.
Oh
yeah, it's called economic stupidity.
Let me build this beautiful thing and have it destroyed within a matter of a year. Yes.
Question is, will that pass OSHA requirements?
Oh,
it's in Japan. They probably don't care.
Yeah, OSHA doesn't. Isn't OSHA? I thought. Wait, is OSHA only?
OSHA's only the United States.
That's what I thought.
I would hope they would have some sort of comparable safety protection in Japan because of the earthquake zone.
I have no idea, honestly.
Oh, well, you never know.
CN says in chat, wood and nails, very strong wood glue, probably.
Yeah, they have Jisha.
Jisha?
Jisha.
So that's their equivalent of OSHA in America then. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, although it's not to say that, I mean, Japanese people are obviously not stupid. I'm sure they probably thought of that. I mean, unless they put some sort of like fire retardant on the wood, like they treated it for fire. But even still,
then,
stuff still burns. Yeah, stuff still burns.
Resistant, but it's not completely resistant, which means if a fire starts, if you don't get it out really quickly, and then you also got to think about all the buildings next to it.
And the people that are in the building.
Exactly. Now, if we look at this main image here, if this is actually how they plan on doing it, if that big building in the center goes down, all those buildings go down. The buildings next to it go down by the little embers and sparks that
it'll be
fly
city
off.
Skylines.
Oh, it would be.
Oh, wait. Okay, so I know Noelle's in chat. Hey, Noelle. It'll be city skylines with earthquakes and tsunamis. She knows what the reference is. But yeah, like I just why? Okay, moving on.
Okay, wait a minute. We do this stuff here on Earth, and we're talking about going to space.
Thinking about that.
That's a good.
We can spread the idiocracy around.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
No wonder aliens don't want to come visit us. They're probably out there. They're just like, they're too dumb. They can't handle
exactly.
it.
Oh my goodness.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness. And speaking of things that are too dumb or whatever, we covered this in our, let me go look at this back. This was a more recent article. This comes from our December 22nd episode, actually this month, where a sneaky pair uses Amazon Alexa to order his way through Amazon.
Now, who's the really smart bird here?
Oh!
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness.
Polly obviously wanted more than a cracker here.
Yes,
I know.
yes, I remember this. So for those of you that are confused, this was about a parrot whose owner left their Amazon Alexa open with their mic and apparently went on a shopping spree. I hate to. What is it? Okay, MommaGrid, you have more experience with credit cards and stuff. Okay, how do you go about canceling all those orders that the parrot made? Like, how do you imagine calling the bank and be like, yeah, my parrot just went on a shopping spree. Like, what do you do?
That's what I was. It's funny you should say that because I was just sitting here thinking, gee, how do you tell Amazon and the bank my parrot did it?
That's worse than saying my dog did it.
Yeah, really. My parrot did it. Got a hold of my credit card. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah.
Now, which
nice.
is worse though? A child who goes online, doesn't realize it, orders a bunch of stuff, which has happened,
That was
or a
little
parrot
more
who does that.
the child is a little more believable. I mean, let's face it, really, the parrot sounds like something out of a fairy tale. I mean, seriously.
If I were the banker, I'd be sitting here going this. Yeah. So really what you're trying to tell us that you don't want to pay your credit card debt. Okay.
Oh, the parrot needs a new job.
Yeah.
Well, the
I
commercials.
think the parrot ought to be at for dinner.
The commercials for the kids' toys. Always the commercial for kids' toys. They always tell the kids, use permission from your parents for use a credit card. Does that same thing apply to the parrot?
I was going to say, who does a parrot go to?
Oh gosh. So we have some chat here. I'm gonna head and read. Let's see. I would agree. Many humans are dumb, not all. So this is from the Derby meme bot. Leo, why did you have to put your chat bot in here? Leo, why?
So that is actually a chat bot?
That's actually Leo's chat bot. Yeah, he likes to dump it in my Twitch channels once in a while.
So it actually does it make random comments?
I don't know. I have no idea.
I don't get
Leo, though, however, does say in chat, my parrot went on a shopping spree, lol. That parrot seems smarter than many humans out there, right? And CN says in chat, I saw a video of a parrot try to call the FBI. Wait, what? Wait, what?
Google check.
Wait, what? Excuse me? I didn't. It's sentiment. It decided to come here. Okay. But yeah, like I just.
Well, I guess if you return everything within 30 days, no matter what the excuse is, they still have to give you your money back.
Yeah.
So
wait, question is a parrot smart enough to get fulfillment by Amazon?
Say what? I missed that.
Is the parrot
that depends on if it can read.
I asked the question, did the parrot get fulfillment by Amazon because it's easier to do returns that way?
And did the parrot click on the little bot saying, I'm not a robot?
Rip.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, so we're going to talk about...
So now you have a parrot bot.
Yeah. So I think what we're going to do is this was not in a previous episode. This is actually something that I thought was cool. I talked to Mama and PappaGrid about this last night. That I found this video originally actually saw on Instagram. I think somebody ripped it. There's a lot of ripped off stuff off of Instagram. It's kind of sad actually, and a lot of people don't even pay copyright for the original account. But I looked it up. This comes from digitaltrends.com. This is about Bugatti developed a 3D printed titanium brake caliper. Which now for those of you listening via like audio, there really isn't anything to listen to, but it just to watch the run of this. Let me go ahead and sort of scrub a little bit here. But they actually show this video of a guy grabbing the titanium brake out of a road case, and they let's see, is there any sort of description or conversation? So they go to mount it on the rotor, and then let's see. Yeah, this is actually the really cool. So they're ramping the rotor up and down several thousand RPM, and they do like 3 braking tests on this, and it looks so cool because it turns into fire. It looks really, really cool, but doesn't explode. That's what's cool about it.
Oh my.
So You can see there, those either watching via video, how hot that caliber.
Oh my word! It's like hot steel.
It's almost to 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit.
And then they did it again. They ramped it all the way up faster.
That is above 1,000 degrees. That's 1,500.
Yeah, and then they get up to 400 degrees Celsius. Oh, they did it in Fahrenheit and Celsius. That's cool. Then look at this part.
Yeah.
And then and then the disc got up to about 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit. The caliber was about, I forget exactly what the number was on there. It was kind of quick. But, the final test of this, because they pushed the heat limits of this.
Wow.
Right. Okay, now check. That is amazing. So it is like glowing.
Jeez.
It's the disc and the brake are like well over like several thousand, and the cool part is they take the caliber off, and this is some great B-roll footage too, actually, of this. Let's see if I can full screen this. There we go. This is some fantastic B-roll of just how like all the sparks and all the fire off of that just looks so cool.
Oh my. Could you imagine your car going fast enough for it actually to look like that?
Well, what I'm thinking of it is that this titanium brake, this could be useful on like smart cars, on trucks, maybe like, you know, future trains and stuff like that. Like this is titanium. 3D printed titanium. Do you realize how like revolutionary that is? And then when they take the caliber off, yeah, it's slightly discolored, but it's in one piece, and they push it well over 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit. That's impressive.
And I'm trying to look at because they're showing how fast the car would have been going at a certain speed. There we go. At their highest setting, looks like they're going over 100 miles per hour, possibly.
Yeah, but they show that the entire caliber was still in one piece by the time all the tests were done on it.
Yeah.
And they at some point showed that the brake pads are still like all together in one in one whole piece and everything.
I guess my question is, you better have good tight seals on your brake lines, because that's going to be very flammable if that liquid leaks out.
Now, okay, now Leo said in chat he doubts it was actually 3D printed, at least not yet. Well, according to the article, I did do a little bit of skimming. Let's see. Let me do the. Okay.
Yeah, it says that it's a supersized chunk of metal. Is the world's first caliper produced using a 3D printer. So that brake caliper was 3D printed.
It's also considered the world's largest 3D printed titanium pressure functional component ever produced on one of the most powerful brake test benches on the market. I'd say it's
that is beautiful.
That should be mandatory on every car and truck around the world. And then they really ought to push it and see if they can do it for airplanes and trains.
Yeah.
Because the safety factor then, especially with a lot of the train wrecks we've had in this country in the last several years, this could be a huge asset for preventing those accidents. Wow, that is
Very
impressive.
It is impressive.
Okay, now, all I have to say is, for those of you that are interested in finance and stocks, etc.
Oh man!
And I had been reading this like just in the last couple of months, but you all know, and it amazes me how fast this 3D printing has jumped from just doing kids' toys to actually doing even like bricks for houses, and now we're doing car calipers. So if you want to invest for the future, you should be looking at companies that do 3D printing and manufacture the parts for 3D printers, and the supplies and materials used to do 3D printing, because those companies are going to make a fortune in the next several years, and that would be an excellent investment.
Let me go ahead and jump in here, read some chat here. Leo says in chat, the internet can say anything at once, doesn't mean it's true. Cian says true with a little upvote thingy, whatever. Let's see. Creature says hi to both Mama and Papa Grid. He's ecstatic about that.
Hi, Creature.
And see, let me look at.
Okay, if they have a doubt about whether this is a truthful story from Bugatti, then all you have to do is Google Bugatti, then look on their site and see if they have press releases. And you can also get a hold of, I think it's called, let me think, Stockholders Services, and contact them, and they can tell you whether this is an actual story and they've actually done these experiments. That's how you verify through a company whether the press release or the video that you see on the net that supposedly theirs and their product.
Yeah,
and that's how you verify that sort of thing.
Yeah. But I mean, Bugatti just makes, they're known for sports cars, like really nice sports cars. I doubt that they would fabricate something like this, honestly.
No, that would be stupid because there's no reputation doing that.
It would. Papa Grid, do you have any thoughts on this at all? Any extra thoughts on it?
Well, I would like to see a caliper that I can put on the car. I don't have to replace every 3 to 5 years, because the normal steel production of calipers is very cheap. And we've had several cars over the years that we've had to replace calipers because the steel we're getting from overseas is very cheap construction, and normal heat causes them to warp.
Oh, this is something that would be nice that they won't warp. That's actually a really valid point, because if it's made of titanium and they can 3D print that and it's really as strong as they did in the test, yeah, it would. Now it might be that the question I would have is that going to bring up the price of cars?
Absolutely.
Because there are.
Yeah.
The problem is, though, the industry is not going to like that, because it's not something it's not going to be a consumable. You got to replace periodically. So I wonder how fast.
You got to look at it this way. Way back in the day when vehicles were created, they were built to last.
Yes.
Nowadays, everything breaks down so quickly because it's all about the money. Can we make this cheaply enough that it'll still work, but that when it breaks down, they got to come pay us to fix it so we get even more money.
Yes.
See, that's what's killer about this. Like, I really, really hate that this always turns into money. Muffy? What? Money. Dyslexia is great. But, like, why can't we just develop something just because we can? Because it's there, and then use it.
Because the value system is different these days. Our ancestors and people like Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, and others went by a completely different moral code. And that moral code, for all intents and purposes, is just about gone. And money, quote unquote, is what makes the world go round these days. And so, which one is going to get me more 5 minutes from now? And that's all we think about in this country is 5 minutes from now. Then naturally, this kind of crap wins out.
Now,
here's what's going to end up happening. If they come out with anything like a car that you basically never have to repair unless you actually do something bad to it, I can almost see subscription-based cars. You want to buy a car from us, pay X amount of dollars for it, and then every month you pay X amount of dollars for it after the fact. Continue to own it. I'm telling you, everything's going subscription-based. It's not too far-fetched to think that buying any sort of material, any sort of product, unless it's food, obviously, will end up becoming a subscription-based model.
Now, wait a minute. Explain the subscription with a car again. Say that again.
Okay, so let's say they do come out with a car that is nigh indestructible.
Yeah.
And we're talking even the parts take forever to wear out. You pay one price, but they want to continue to make more money. They don't like the idea that after they sell it to you, unless you wreck it, you're not going to be paying them more money. So they instead say, hey, here's a subscription model, pay X amount of dollars per month if you want to continue to use it.
Doesn't that currently exist with a leasing program?
Well, rental
program's the same thing.
Well, rental cars are like that.
Well, yeah, rental cars.
So it does already exist.
It does exist, so it's not completely far-fetched, but...
Well, Leo says in chat, though, he says Thomas Edison wanted money. He was there for the money, although I I don't know.
No, he doesn't know enough about his history with Thomas Edison.
Oh, shots fired.
Shots fired.
And also Thomas Edison is credited for more than he did. Yeah, there were a lot of things that Thomas Edison did that isn't always like completely marked in history. But yes, there was a lot of things that he did besides just that.
The problem is Thomas Edison, the only thing he wanted to do with his car is that everything was going to be the same color. At least now we have a lot more choices.
No, that's wrong. Henry Ford was the one that all his cars
Henry
were black,
Ford,
and they were all
my
the same
dude.
color. Yes.
Sorry about that.
Rip.
Yes.
Rip.
Shots are being fired.
It just
Ford
happened.
built cars to last, and he built them so that every family in America could afford an automobile.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
That's
my.
why he had his assembly line production, and it basically came pretty close to that practically every could afford a car.
Now you're just lucky if you can even just afford a loan on a car.
Oh my.
Yes, that's the truth. They also didn't have credit records and things like that back when Henry Ford and Edison were alive.
True. So I want to quick touch here. So Gurttron, did we want to talk about the YouTube Rewind, or was that just kind of?
I am going to talk about it. Not necessarily going to watch any of it, but anybody out there who knows anything about YouTube knows that YouTube has been doing YouTube Rewinds.
Yes.
Now, their most
What's a YouTube
recent,
Rewind?
So YouTube,
basically, they go
Go ahead.
over everything, all the most important things that went over that past year on YouTube, like creators and whatnot. And
Okay.
that kind of thing. However, this year, they completely messed it up. I mean,
should
really
I play
bad.
it because Mom and PappaGrid haven't seen it, or should I play parts of it?
I mean, you can if you want. It is 8 minutes long.
It's 5 minutes long.
Oh, no. If you're looking at Pewdiepie's,
Oh
that's
no,
different.
I'm not talking about PewDiePie. I'm talking about the original one.
The original one is 8 minutes long.
Play and I unfollow. Creature says no. Bye.
Because the one you're looking at right now, YouTube Rewind 2018, but it's actually good. That's Pewdiepie's.
Oh, where was the original? Oh, the original one. Oh, sorry, this was the original one. The YouTube Spotlight. By the way, just to tell you how bad it was, it's had over 14 million dislikes and only 2.4 million likes on YouTube.
It is the most disliked video on YouTube. No joke.
Maybe I'll show it to Mom and PappaGrid like later or something actually, and we'll just talk about like how I'll show it to you guys later off stream.
Okay. Overall, why are there so many? Why is it the most disliked video?
Because they didn't even think about the actual creators. Some of the most popular creators weren't even in it. There were like, I don't really want to say nobodies,
Yeah.
but there were people really didn't even know.
True.
I mean, I went through the list and I watched a lot of YouTube, and a lot of these people I've never even heard of. And the most famous person, PewDiePie, which is the most followed person on YouTube, isn't even mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
The most popular people on YouTube aren't even mentioned in it, and they just completely messed it over.
Yeah.
Well, that could cause. Okay, so the ones that are the most popular, that could cause a bit of a PR rift between those money makers and YouTube. That wasn't right.
Yeah. I mean, they went over things. They made it so politically correct and so far left leaning.
That's yeah. Mm-hmm.
That completely just.
Wait a minute. You said they made it so far left leaning and politically correct, and it got 14 million dislikes and 2-point-some odd million likes.
Yeah.
That means the liberals are not in control, boys. If there's
not of YouTube. Not of YouTube.
Yeah, that's interesting because the liberal left uses YouTube so much to put their PR crap out there.
Rep.
Exactly.
But most of the world is not leaning left yet.
Interesting, eh?
Well, that'll really ruin the end of the year for the liberals.
Indeed. Now, since that came out, there have been a lot of remakes of it by popular YouTube people. people
Okay.
who felt like it deserved it. Now, PewDiePie, as everybody now knows, is the most popular person on YouTube, the most followed person on YouTube, and he's definitely not PG. He's more like PG-13, getting kind of close to whatever's a little bit above PG-13.
Yeah.
So, but his was released on December 27th and has 6.4 million likes and 51,000 dislikes. And it's amazing the comparison between the two.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed watching it. I mean, like I said, it's not PG, but it actually included all the things you would have wanted to see in a 2018 YouTube Rewind.
Interesting.
Crazy.
Yeah. For sure.
And I was looking at all of this and the dislikes and this kind of thing. Justin Bieber's, I think it was something Baby. I can't remember what song it was.
Justin Bieber's still a thing.
Yeah. Well, Justin Bieber's, there was one of his YouTube videos that used to be the most disliked video.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I got it up on Wikipedia.
But it took years to get to that point.
Wow.
Justin
And
Bieber's
this
Baby
one,
had
within
84
only a few... Oh, sorry?
Justin Bieber's Baby video was 84.94% disliked. Compared to the Rewind, it's 95.96% disliked. And that's from Wikipedia.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But it really kind of shows an interesting, testament to like how people, I mean, YouTube as it is, I've ranted about YouTube several times. YouTube is not what it used to be. It's much harder to grow on. In fact, if you're going to grow, if you want to do content creation online, just either pick a different platform, honestly. Like it's not even like worth it. Creature said within a week, YouTube Rewind beat that. Wow.
Yeah, and keeping in mind that Justin Bieber's Baby, which I thought that was what it was called, took several years to get to that point of being the most disliked. This one took only a few days.
Oh, dang.
Week to get to that point.
Oh, dang. Wow.
So, yeah, I'm sorry, but YouTube just has completely disconnected from its own content creators.
Yeah.
So, just saying.
Well, that's like Congress disconnecting from reality. Same thing. They've all disconnected.
Yeah, they all did Alt F4.
Yes, exactly.
They had the blue screen of death.
Oh, there's a thought.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. The blue screen of death.
BDOS stop error.
Democrats are considered the blue side, right?
Oh.
So they got the blue screen of death.
Yes.
Wait, okay, I have to put up. I wish I had a wah, 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 but I only have this. All right, I think we're going to go ahead and wind down this episode. But thank you, Mama and Papa Grid, once again for being a part of our show and being on here and everything. We really superly appreciate it. Thank you to everybody who has followed this channel, who has been a part of this channel. I know it's been a slow growth and stuff. We, of course, we're not stopping here. We're going to be back in 2019. My Lord, that's so hard to say and feels so weird. I'm going to be writing, it's going to be hard writing checks. We have to write 2019 and everything when you go to date. Oh my gosh, that's going to be fun. But yeah, let me think about if there's any other business. We're gonna probably take a couple weeks off, I guess, because this is the end of we're on episode 10 of season 5, so we're gonna come back with season 6 of the Morning Metro. Yeah, right. Because every season has 10 episodes. So
Exactly.
we're going to start the little outro music that we usually have. But yeah, thank you guys so much for being here. We wish you, from all of us at the Morning Metro, we wish you guys a happy new year. We pray for blessing and success in everything that you do. And I guess, Mama Pauker, do you have anything else you want to say to help finish out this episode at all?
Yeah, I do. This was a lot of fun. Papa Grid and I really enjoyed doing this. And also, we're really just really want to praise the Lord for getting to the end of the year like we have, because at the beginning of the year, Papa Grid couldn't even walk, and now he is able to walk. and do things and get back to a normal life. And we're just really hoping that we can this coming year. But we just really, what God has done in our lives this year has been amazing. And we just really thank him for it. And we thank you guys for letting us be on here and have this much fun tonight. I can't believe it's already over. I'd love to do this a couple more hours. This has been a blast.
Let's have you back again sometime.
So yeah, this would really be a lot of fun. We would love to do this again. So thank you very much, guys.
Oh, you're welcome.
And to everybody out there, have a really happy New Year, and may your New Year be full of abundant blessings.
All right, cool. Well, thank you guys again. Have an awesome night, and we'll see you in season 6 in 2019. Catch you guys later.
Good night.
Thank you for listening to the
night.
Morning Metro. All stories and articles belong to their respected companies. Songs used for broadcasts. Intro music, Retro Funky by Persephone. Remix by Sundance. Outro music, 305 by Approach Nirvana. All music belongs to their respected copyright holders. For article submissions, questions, comments, or concerns, please email us at themorningmetro@gmail.com.